Can you talk about a near-death experience if you haven't had one? This comment really isn't even about this practitioner, but this practitioner was very upset that I was speaking about NDEs, near-death experiences, and I myself have never died, at least not that I'm aware of. And come back. So they were saying, you cannot speak about this because you have not experienced it. Let's just pause for a moment. If that is our template of how we think education should happen, then that thinking would say that no female could ever have an opinion on how men treat them. Or because I am Hawaiian, I cannot have an opinion on French politics. When we have experiences that trigger an emotion and that trigger a trauma, we have to pay reverence to that, and we have to hold that space for that other individual with grace, which I strive to do. I hope that I'm able to do that. But just because I haven't experienced it, well, let me just kind of go a little bit, let's go do a little bit of a deeper dive. Because I haven't experienced it, it doesn't mean that I don't understand what it visually looks like. Let me give you an example, friend. When I was a child, and I would talk to individuals, my friends, even my teachers, to say, your dream last night was really wild. Let me see what I saw. And my friends and my family and my teachers would say, how did you see that? How did you even possibly know? And for me, because everything is so visual vibratorily, even though I did not experience my teacher's dream, I could still have a profound sense of knowing and feeling in connection to that teacher's dream. So I guess the deeper dive, the part 2 of your original thought is, though I have not experienced an NDE, it's so visual for me in terms of what is going on in terms of your communications. And sometimes in those NDEs, you come back and it doesn't feel kind and it doesn't feel generous. And you don't feel like I learned a lot on the other side in that little glimpse of a moment. I feel quite scared because I did feel some kind of demonic energy, or I did feel some kind of hell-like energy or location. I felt that in my NDE, so therefore everyone should be experiencing those kinds of NDEs. Now, we have to understand how the brain still works with our spirituality and how our brain still works with our religious dogma. And right in the middle, we have all this secular spirituality. And an NDE still is kind of in this beautiful limbic zone that feels like I am still connected how I thought, how I think. I'm connected to what is on the other side, and all that energy feels very nebulous, and it's very confusing. And it sounds like you or one of those very, very small portion of individuals who come back and have an NDE to say it wasn't kind, but that is a very small portion of individuals who experience NDEs that way because your brain is still being experienced in that NDE. This is a really big deep dive, isn't it? And already it feels a little bit like, well, I think I might be offended by that. And that's okay if you're offended by this. And you don't have to hear this from me. If you don't desire to learn this education from me, then look it up and research information from other individuals who have had similar NDEs like you, or NDEs that are completely different. Because the vast ratio of NDEs that are dropped in fear versus large amounts of knowing and experience and love on the other side is huge, huge, huge differences. This was a tangent. This was a bit of a tangent. I'm so sorry.